Hello people, I'm the Real Comic Book Gamer, and today I'm going to be talking about the Death of Superman movie. I'm going to be doing sort of a loose review. I didn't really write much down or anything, or like go super in depth. I just wanted to talk about the movie because I watched it and a lot of people are asking me to talk about it. So that's what I'm going to do today. Spoiler alert, I guess, even though, everyone knows what happens in Death of Superman. Like, oh wow, Superman dies in the movie called Death of Superman based on the comic called Death of Superman. Who would have thought? Like, there's not really anything to spoil, but I'm going to be spoiling stuff in this. So if like you don't want spoilers, then leave now. But there's not really anything to spoiler. But yeah, I just wanted to put a warning in there for anyone that might get upset about that. Anyways, let's just talk about it. I'm gonna be jumping all over the place. There's like basically no structure to this review. I just kind of want to talk about it. So when this was announced, like what, a year or two ago, I think it was announced at Comic-Con, they're basically saying, hey, we already did a Death of Superman movie, but it wasn't comic accurate, and it was just like a new rendition of Death of Superman. It was kind of mixed. Some people liked it, some people didn't, and we just did a lot of new stuff with it. So now we're gonna do a more comic accurate version for the fans. And I was like, yes, I am so on board with this. And then so later on we got like screenshots of the movie, and it was New 52, and he was fighting the actual like New 52 Justice League, and it's like, this isn't like the comic at all. It's like, okay, so it's not going to be like the comic. And then the movie comes out and it turns out it's nothing like the comic whatsoever. Besides the fact that Doomsday kills Superman, that's the only thing that's like the same. That's it. Everything else is completely changed, and it's not a bad movie. It's just you could have been so much better, because you have Batman Under the Red Hood, which is by far the best animated comic book movie there is. I know a lot of people say like Mask of the Phantasm. No, I mean, everyone is entitled to their opinion and all that, but obviously, in my opinion, Under the Red Hood is way better. Under the Red Hood, I think, is by far the best animated comic book movie there is. You want to know why? Because they got Judd Winnick, the guy who wrote the comic, to write the movie. That helps a lot. In this, they got Peter J. Tomasi, who is a great writer, but they shouldn't have gotten him to do a new story. They should have just gotten Dan Jurgens and be like, hey, how would you adapt this to the big screen? What would you feel like sacrificing, considering it's going to be hard to, take a full graphic novel and adapt to the big screen? I think that would have worked out better, and I think that's why Under the Red Hood was such a success and was as good as it is, because they got the actual guy who wrote the comic to write the movie. But no, they don't. Peter J. Tomasi, nothing against him. He's a great writer. He had an amazing run on Superman. I love the guy. But it's Death of Superman. He shouldn't be writing this. And if he is, he should be just adapting the book. Like, I also don't get it, considering the fact that the comic itself is really good and it makes your job easier. Why wouldn't you be like, hey, why create something completely new when we're supposed to be adapting a book anyways? Why not just follow what happens in the book? It'll make the fans happy. It makes my job easier. Easy peasy. But no, instead they decided to do this. People love the movie still. Again, I don't think it's a bad movie. I just think it could have been so much better if they would have followed the book. It's still good. It's just, man, if they would have followed the book, it would have been so much better. So there's still some stuff in the book in there, again, like Doomsday beating the crap out of everyone, and they set up the Reign of Superman, which is going to be the next movie. I think comes out next year. So they set up like Eradicator, Cyborg, Superman, Superboy, stuff like that. They set up a lot of that. They set up Steel, and that was pretty cool to see. I'm excited about that. I'm hoping Reign of Superman's good. Superman himself is pretty good in the movie. Actually, let's talk about voice acting real quick. All the voice acting is very like serviceable. None of it really stands out besides Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern, because he's just perfect as Green Lantern. I love him as Green Lantern. Every time he plays Hal, it's spot on. He does a great job. And the guy who played Barry was really good too, but everyone else is kind of just like serviceable. They're not bad, besides Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is played by Rainn Wilson, aka Dwight from The Office, and he is just terrible.
Ooh, that sounds scary. But as you can see, I spend my days under house arrest, wearing this crude leash. I've added a little dash of kryptonite green. Don't worry, it's not real.
Just he does not have the voice of Lex. He sounds so awful. It does not sound Lex. It took me out of the movie every time. It just annoyed me so much hearing that voice come from Lex, because like the voice did not match with the character, like how he looked and everything, and it annoyed me so much. That was terrible. Rest of the voice acting was fine, with a few really good ones, like I said, with Green Lantern and Flash, but Lex was terrible. Superman and Lois were fine. The rest of the Justice League was fine. But again, there wasn't anything like amazing. Like, yes, I want to see these people play these characters in every DC movie to come. No, there wasn't any of that. But yeah, for the most part, it was fine. Animation was good. I like the animation. The best part of this movie by far is when Doomsday is wrecking house. Doomsday beating the utter crap out of everyone is the best part of the movie because he goes in. It is violent. It is fast. It is just so much like just violence of him destroying everyone. And I loved it. They nailed that part. That part just like A+ job. You guys did amazing. The animators and everything with that. Like he goes in. There's no holding back from Doomsday. It is awesome. Now, I will say that I kind of wish we would have gotten more of Superman versus Doomsday because we got a lot of Justice League versus Doomsday, and then we get a little bit of Superman, then they like cut away, and then they cut back, and it's like this, when it's on Superman versus Doomsday, it's awesome, but we're not getting a whole lot of it. We did get a decent amount. I just would have preferred some more of it, considering, you know, it is Death of Superman. I would have preferred some more of Superman versus Doomsday. And actually, let's talk real quick about how Superman killed Doomsday. Because in the comic, Superman is just sort of like in the movie, just pounding on Doomsday the whole time. They're pounding on each other. The difference is there's no effect on Doomsday. There's plenty effect on Clark. He is like getting the crap beaten out of him. He doesn't know what's going on. He's like, this guy, everything I do to him, nothing's changing. And then he finally figures out that those spiky bones on the outside of him are an extension of the bones inside of him. So he goes and he just starts breaking those. And Doomsday is not happy about that because having broken bones does not feel good and will definitely slow you down. And so that gets it to where Doomsday is weak and vulnerable enough to where they both deliver a final punch to each other and they both die. Like, they both go, they run, they do a gigantic punch at each other and, like, create this big hole and everything, and they're dead. Well, Doomsday's dead, Superman's on the verge of dying, then that's when Lois comes up and asks him. That part was great that they took that directly from the book, was where Clark asked, did I stop him? Did I save everyone? That part was great. Love that. They took that directly from the book. I was so happy about that. And, yeah. But the Superman Doomsday fight in this, it ends with Superman the entire time like not really being able to do any damage, and then at the end he just decides, oh, I'll break his neck by flying super fast into his face, and it'll go and he'll like be like an owl and go like that. His head will spin around, and that's what he does, and that's how he kills him. I was like, I'm fine with that, but it's kind of like exactly what happened with Zod in Man of Steel. It's literally like, oh, they're both fighting, no damage is done to Zod at all, and then he just gets the neck break. And they literally did that in this. Like, no damage is done to Doomsday at all, and then he gets the neck break, and that's it. Kind of feels more like a lucky shot. To where Man of Steel, it made sense why it was a lucky shot, because it was an inexperienced Superman fighting, like, a military general that was kicking his ass the entire time. Then he got in a lucky position and broke his neck. To where in this, it's like, this is experienced Superman. I would have liked to seen him figure out the whole bone thing and take him down that way and then kill him with the final punch. I would have preferred that. But the way they did it wasn't terrible. Like, the way they did it in the Superman vs. Doomsday movie, I thought they were going to actually repeat it because there was a point where it sort of happened, was he flies up, like, into space with Doomsday and flies back down and impacts onto the ground with Doomsday first, and that's how they both die. So I was happy they didn't do that again. But yeah, I would have liked to seen Clark, like, figure some things out a bit more, but still, is fine. It was bad. A big part of the movie is the Clark and Lois focal point. Like, they're a huge focal point in the movie, is their relationship, because they've been dating for, I don't know, like 2 months or something at this point. Doesn't seem like very long. And Lois is like, oh, you're so secretive, you never tell me about things, you seem like you don't like me that much. And Clark is like, oh no, I do. And then you see Clark in the background, like when he's actually Superman, he's talking to his friends, he's like, I don't know about Lois, blah 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 blah, talks to Wonder Woman about it and all this other stuff. And that part of the Justice League meeting was weird, by the way. I didn't like that at all, where he talks to Barry about it, because Barry's like about to get married to Iris, and he's like, oh, you're not afraid about bringing her into your life? She knows your secret identity, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that didn't seem like Superman at all. It sounded really weird. But yeah, I didn't like the fact that Lois and Superman were dating. I still think that's stupid. I said it forever ago. I did a video talking about how to do a Death of Superman movie, and the fact that Lois and Clark being married, it is a key element of that. Because when they've just been dating for like 2 months and then he dies, you don't get the emotional pain. There's like not that stakes in it. It's like, oh, they've been dating for like 2 months. Whoop-de-doo. It's like, I had the same problem with Batman v Superman, where it's like, oh, Clark and Lois have just been dating for a bit. Okay, I don't care how long they've been dating. Like, they haven't tied the knot yet. Oh, he's about to propose. Oh, wow. Why not just have them already be married? It doesn't get to you as much as if they were married. They legit could open the movie like with them being married or them like coming back from their honeymoon or something. Or you could have just seen like a ring on their finger and mentioned it. Like it would have been easy. Audience would have been fine with it. Oh, Clark and Lois are married. Okay, cool. Moving on. It would have been fine. Instead of this whole like a huge part of the movie is just taken up by Clark and Lois and their relationship of like, oh no, we've been dating for a few months, but I don't trust you and blah blah. And then he eventually does tell her that he is Superman. It's not done the worst way ever. It's just it would have been better if again they would have followed the comic. It makes no sense. Why not follow the comic? I don't get that. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the movie. I had fun with it. Again, Doomsday is by far the best part. When he's going in destroying people, it is just amazing to watch him just destroying Justice League. But yeah, my only real gripes with it are they should have followed the comic more, and Lex Luthor's voice actor is terrible. Rainn Wilson, good actor, but his voice does not match Lex. It's not his fault, just his voice doesn't match Lex, and it is just absolutely awful. That's my only really like big complaints with the movie. The rest of the movie's fine. Well, I mean, also Clark and Lois not being married, but yeah, the rest of the movie's fine. It's not bad. It's definitely not the best movie ever, like the best animated DC movie ever, but it's better than a lot of the recent ones, like you know the crappy Damian Wayne ones. It's better than those. I would say it's like if I had to rate it out of 10, I'd maybe give it a 7. Like it's fine. It's a fun movie to watch. I'll probably watch it again sometime. But yeah, I wasn't mad about the money I spent on it or like, oh, curse you, DC. But I was disappointed considering it was pitched as a more comic book accurate Death of Superman movie. Yet it's not. It's like just as inaccurate as the Superman vs. Doomsday movie we got. So that's kind of stupid. But anyways, yeah, I'm excited for the Reign of Superman movie. I was fine with this movie. And please let me know in the comments below if you guys have seen this movie. What'd you think of Death of Superman? And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.
Legends never die, we've been going every night. I've been feeling way too blessed, but with Lex I'm never stressed. They don't know just what we do, we've been out here with the crew. They don't know just how we live, think we got too much to give.